Welcome to the Improve and Have Fun podcast. My name is Paul V. Perez, and on this podcast, I work on improving myself while having fun along the way, and I do so by documenting my life and interests. Just got home, the AMC Newport in Newport, New Jersey. Finished watching Thor Love and Thunder, and I gotta say, I very much enjoyed it. There were moments where I got emotional as well. I'm very easy to cry for these things. Anytime there's like kind of sentiment that comes to family or relationships, it always gets me, and I'm always real quick to about to cry. And it got me there a few times, actually. This was a lot of fun. I thought it was going to be like a whole comedy fest because of the critics that I follow on YouTube. There being, once again, Grace Randolph, Christian Harloff, John Campea. I didn't exactly hear the reviews so that it won't slant my review too much. Just the one thing that I heard is that it seems to be very jokey, very much a comedy. I liked it. I like Taika Waititi's comedy with these Marvel movies. I very much enjoyed Thor Ragnarok, and I enjoyed this movie as well. I thought Thor Ragnarok maybe was a little bit better, and I don't know why. I just have a feeling like Thor Ragnarok was a little bit tighter. This movie had some great emotional moments, but it just seemed to slow down at times. And it's weird because the movie didn't feel long, but I don't know. It's just like the vibe of it. Just maybe because I was expecting it to be funny. Most of the jokes landed. Some don't, but it just made me smile. Even the jokes that didn't. I get a second appreciation for a movie when I see it again, like when it comes to Disney Plus and I see the movie again, and it either clarifies my emotions about the movie, or it kind of, and it makes me like it even more, or it could make me like it even less. Truth be told, Marvel has been on the MCU has been kind of on a downward trajectory for me, and the reason being, a lot of these Disney Plus shows are not movie level emotion for me. They're kind of good to okay. I find myself, even now with this the latest show that's going on now is Miss Marvel, I find myself kind of, it started off really great, but now just like losing interest, because there are things that happen that you just kind of question, like, or make you scratch your head, like, what is this exactly? And to me, the best Disney Plus show has been Loki. But even Loki was just good. It wasn't like great. And everything else has flashes and moments of like, this is super cool. To when it finally wraps up, it's like, oh, that was okay. I honestly feel like The Boys on Amazon Prime is the better show than anything MCU-wise that Disney Plus has produced. Anything MCU-wise, like TV show-wise, on Disney Plus is not as good as simply The Boys on Amazon Prime. The Boys has been fantastic, and that as well has its little dips in times, but it all wraps up very well. Whereas the Marvel shows start off so hot and so cool and so great, and you're getting to see this hero on screen for the first time, when it just kind of gets rushed, and there are things that happen that you kind of question, and like, what exactly happened there? Because he just like throw all this stuff at the end, like final 2 episodes of a 6-episode season. What I'm saying is that this movie has kind of brought back that enjoyment of where I can watch something Marvel-wise and it'd be like, I had a great time watching this. Because the last 3 Marvel movies, and I've rewatched them since, like I said, saw them in the movies, and those reviews are on this podcast. You can go back and hear those episodes, and then kind of rewatching them again on Disney Plus. And those movies being like Shang-Chi, Black Widow, which was okay as well. It was just kind of good to okay. Shang-Chi was very good. Shang-Chi was very good. I enjoyed Shang-Chi. Eternals, which when I first saw it, I was like, this is okay. But when I saw it again on Disney Plus, I enjoyed it even more. And then recently, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which I just rewatched it recently. And I find myself enjoying it because it's a Sam Raimi movie as opposed to it being a Doctor Strange movie. Because I like Sam Raimi, and I like horror Sam Raimi. Right? I saw Drag Me to Hell recently as well. And I like horror Sam Raimi, and I like Doctor Strange because of Sam Raimi, and not to be so much because of Doctor Strange. And even Doctor Strange of the Multiverse of Madness was just good. It wasn't like great, like, oh wow, this movie goes more into the great category for me because, like I said, a lot of laughs, a lot of emotional parts that almost brought me to tears, and I very much enjoyed this. Unfortunately, with Marvel movies, they killed the villain off again in this one. We're talking full spoilers as always, and that's okay. I mean, it really it sets up Gore and the visuals of him, like when they finally kind of go to that like moon where he's kind of like based at. I love that like black and white gray visual, and then you see kind of his like the orange in his eyes. That looks super cool. I really, really enjoyed that. But he just didn't feel like a very strong villain. It just felt like his story was wrapped up neatly and nicely, and that's it for him, kind of thing. The coolest thing in this movie for me was like the Eternity, the character of Eternity, and how he looked on screen. I remember seeing those Marvel Universe handbooks. My older brother used to buy them, where I used to kind of give a character bio, and it was just like, it was in alphabetical order, and I just remember seeing Eternity. I never really understood what his powers are or what his presence is. I just remember him looking like it's a silhouette of a figure with kind of the universe like as his body, and I thought the movie captured that really, really well. Like, he looks super cool in it. Like, and as soon as they mentioned him in the movie, I picked up on it. And Easter eggs that I noticed, and when I'm finished with this, I'm gonna go on YouTube and see. There's probably more Easter eggs that I missed. I think you see the serpent from Shang-Chi. I think you see one of the characters from Moon Knight, like one of the kind of Egyptian gods. You see a couple of Celestials in the background. Now, I think with this movie, you actually feel that the Eternals are actually included in the Marvel Universe, because there are so many like different groups and figures and characters introduced in the Disney Plus shows, introduced in these movies, where the phases that happened before, the selling point was the connectedness, like how everything was connected. But with these recent string of movies, maybe it's a long game, but with these more recent string of movies, they're not as connected, and also with the TV shows, they're kind of all just setting up their own little worlds. But it's cool to see that in this movie, you're starting to see some of those little connections made in this new phase. Like I said, you see Eternals stuff. You see Shang-Chi, which I'm assuming is Shang-Chi, like that serpent. And you see Eternals, Celestials in this movie kind of in the background and stuff. The whole relationship with Thor and Jane, her being sick and passing ultimately, that brought me to tears. And the whole thing of love and kind of just the end-all be-all, just to be loved. It's very TV, it's very Disney, this theme, right? But like I said, it resonated with me. Maybe deep down inside, it's something that a personal issue I'm dealing with. Maybe that's why maybe it just brings up the emotion in me when it comes to that so many people do something for love, which a lot of times is not the best decision and can land you in jail or dead. Just doing things for love. We see it all the time on the news. This movie was very enjoyable, a good time at the movies. I laughed, almost cried several times. The action was great. I didn't feel like Thor was lesser because Jane Foster was there. I hear and I watch, and this kind of meme of like the MCU, like Marvel is just wanting to push the female characters, and you get a feeling of that at times while demeaning the men, but in a way, not 100% outright. But I don't feel like that in this movie with the Jane Foster and Valkyrie and stuff like that. And I felt that Thor definitely held his own. And he had such great funny moments, for sure. And I think my paying attention to harsh critics of Disney, Marvel, and Disney Star Wars has definitely maybe painted a negative picture for me, because it's making me see another side where this other side, for me, says facts at times. I actually always like hearing the other side. For a long time, I was just kind of very cheerleading one side, but I'm glad that there are dissenting opinions, just to kind of hear the other side, and maybe they're seeing things that I'm not seeing that I agree with, and maybe it has soured my view on the MCU as a whole. But when something is good, I want to get on that bandwagon and say, hey, this thing is great. And Thor Love and Thunder was so much fun, very much like I said, about love and about being loved and feeling loved, not being alone in this world kind of thing, which I do not think is a bad thing. in real life, for sure. In these movies, that's a great thing. In real life, I don't think being alone is bad, for sure. Let's go ahead and hear what Jason and David had to say, and then I'll see you on the other side of that.
Hello, we're live. We just came out of the movie. We saw the 12:30 a.m. showing of Thor Love and Thunder at the AMC Empire on 42nd Street at the Dolby Theater, which had wonderful seats, great sound, great picture, sometimes loud, good quality presentation. Anyway, David, what are your first thoughts of the movie?
Hey, I thought that the film was a great job by Mr. Waititi, as usual. I think it was a bit childish, actually. Not in a bad way. It's just that I wasn't expecting it to be so childish. The plot really was light, and it was meant for, it seems like it was geared for kids. Everyone seemed very comfortable in their roles, but not serious, just not taking it seriously. I don't think it was a bad thing. I just think that was the sentiment of Mr. Waititi this time around, to make it really, really childish, which it was. And some of the jokes were on point, but seemed forced a little bit, forced humor. But not in a bad way. If you're a kid, you won't even notice it. I'd laugh if I was a kid. Kid. Like, it seemed like it was for 11-year-olds. It's like 9, 10, 8-year-olds. That's what I thought. But other than that, well executed, and I would not see it again.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so my first thoughts of this film, it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of good creative stuff going on. I noticed that all of the interviews of the actors who were making the movie with, Taika Waititi, they seem to love him as a director. They seem to love making the movie. They seem to have such a great time. Kristen Bale, I think these were all done at either just one of the premieres of the movie, maybe the one in Hollywood or something, but they all had a great time. Kristen Bale did some really nice interviews where he's smiling and talking all great stuff, and how
you mean uncharacteristically smiling.
Yeah, exactly. Like he even said himself, sometimes he could be a little serious. He's a great actor.
I will say that he played his role very well, and if there wasn't just one scene where he actually turned into a Disney character almost, and then went right back to the serious character that he was, he did a great job. It's just
yes.
I just think he stood out because he was so serious compared to the rest of the movie.
Right. In fact, I even heard someone talking about how he's in another movie and everyone else is in this movie. But, maybe that's what they were going for. So my biggest thing, I generally enjoyed it, but my biggest, I would say, thing about it was that the editing is not the best, It's like, it's not put together in a smooth way. It seems like go from scene to scene to scene, and it's not, the narrative is very loose. It doesn't have a story that you really follow and interact with and think about it.
There's no story.
And you're trying to go along and it's just like, let's just have fun and do a bunch of scenes that are cool and like you said, there's tons of jokes. Some of them hit really well. We laughed a couple of times very hard, and
yep.
There's lots of jokes. Yes, you're right. Some of them seem to be a little forced, but I think if it was put together a little better, it could have been just as good or even better than Ragnarok, which it wasn't.
Not at all. Ragnarok is a near perfect movie. Don't even.
Yes. I don't know what happened with the editing or
Did you notice?
Some
Jason?
scenes were cut or
Did
something?
Did you notice that they actually, at one point when the kids are all fighting and stuff, when everything was over, they did a shot where the kids were fighting again. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, everybody was fighting all over again. Just to fill it was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, and then when they cut to the kids fighting, when they started the kids fighting, it seemed to be too easy for them. It was we got the power now, and then they're just gonna beat up everybody.
And they suddenly had moves, as if they were trained.
And then
which they weren't, because they trained them at the end of the movie.
They trained them at the end of the movie. That's right. Anyway, it was still fun. Oh yeah, and the ending. Let's talk about the ending. So, Russell Crowe, by the way, was awesome. I thought he was funny.
Great job.
He was a good job.
Great job.
That was a great scene. That might have been the best scene of the movie.
Yep.
And I'm sure a lot of ladies will like to see him in the buff. In the trailer, I think they pixel it.
Right.
And then in the movie, it's not pixelated. You see his buns.
Interestingly enough, I didn't even look at his buns. So
and then
weird.
I think he is the most perfectly ripped ever in this. In some scenes, he
worked really hard.
It was unbelievable how how like perfectly sculpted his body. Wow, he really worked out very hard. Yes. I guess he's doing it after like 10, 15 years. He's just getting really good at it.
Wasn't he the one who sued or asked for a lot more money at one point because of the hard work that he was doing?
Oh, I don't know.
Staying in shape for Thor.
Is that right? Maybe.
I believe
maybe.
he did, yes.
I could be wrong.
It was either him or the Captain America guy.
You could be right.
Captain America's his brother, right? I'm so confused, right? The Captain America guy, the actor?
Chris Evans?
That's not his brother.
It's not his brother, no.
Right, well, one of those actors, I think it was this guy or Chris Evans.
There is another actor.
Sued, or not sued, but asked for a lot more money.
Okay.
Because he's like, hey, this is really hard to stay in this kind of shape, and I can't get other roles being ripped like this. I just can't. So,
so you need to pay me more, man. Because I got to always work out and stuff. All in all, it was fun. So let's go around for the scores. So, David, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate Thor Love and Thunder?
I'd give it a 9.8 if I were 10 years old. As an adult, I'd give it an 8. An 8. A low 8. 7,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one other thing I was saying.
Your score?
But I would just want to say before I say my score, in the end, they did show a scene of Zeus talking to his son, I think Hercules. And
did he call him Hercules?
No, he didn't. But no. That was
he certainly didn't look like Hercules either.
It was a little funny looking, but weird. Anyway, we'll see.
That guy looks like he could get beat up in 2 seconds too. By the way,
it wasn't Lou Ferrigno, that's for sure.
Yeah.
To piggyback off of what you were saying, I would say a 9.9 even if I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
But if
as an adult,
as Jason Geller, I'm going to say it was a 7.5.
Wow, that's even lower than I gave it.
Really? What'd you give it?
What did I give it as an adult?
I don't know. I forgot.
A 7.
Okay.
No, an 8.
Okay, I say 7.5.
Yeah.
Okay. No, because for me, narrative is very important, and it really did not have a good, story to follow. Like
I didn't care about anything.
It was just boom, 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 and that was that. And they should go back and edit it better for the Blu-ray. Okay. Anyway, but we hope they make more good movies. I hear Taika Waititi is going to direct the next Star Wars movie.
Oh, that'll be good.
So that'll be awesome. Anyway, if he does a good job. All right. But we have faith in him. He's a good director, generally speaking. So let's see what happens. This has been Jason Geller and David McKay in Times Square for Paul's podcast. Improve and have fun.
There you go.
Have a great time.
See ya.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I will catch you on the next one.